Stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Hello, and thank you for joining the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, President Tinubu seeks approval of the House of Representatives for 500 billion naira for subsidy palliatives as NLC protests the planned palliative, demands 300% pay rise. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin the program with the news just reaching us from the lower legislative chamber, that's of the National Assembly, that service chiefs has just been declared by the House of Representatives. Julie, and the Senate.
The Senate has cleared them. So
okay,
what it means is that they have to go down to brass tacks now.
Okay,
they have no excuse. They are now operating validly. Whatever they do now, they have the power to do it. They've been given the mandate by the laws of the land to do it. The president has told them what to do. In Plateau State, you've got to sort out the nonsense that is happening there. People being killed anyhow. Lagwaja has to put his foot down, get the right people to go and get the job done. And the Air Force, the Navy, they all need to work together. Our territorial waters have to be better protected. We don't want to hear the stories of oil thefts like we had in the past. So the Air Force must work with the surface troops to deal with the enemies of the Nigerian state. So now that the Senate has cleared them, they have to get down to work. And the president will also decorate the service chiefs now, because they have to be higher than their peers, so that the power to give the command and control will also be validated.
Like Major General Lagbaja can be
he will become a lieutenant general. Will become a lieutenant general now. Then his own boss, Chris Musa, will become a full general. This time, because he has to be higher than the rest of the service chiefs, because he's their coordinator. So, congratulations to them, and we look forward to their decoration.
Yes, we are faced with a lot of security challenges, so the service chiefs and the police, they have their hands full.
Yes, they have to hit the ground running now, since they have been... Personally, I've always been seeing it a bit awkward, personally, when I've seen the service chiefs in the past few days, after their appointment, still carrying their old ranks, when I also saw them in the midst of their colleagues. But that is the military. The only two challenge, I don't know, I've not been able to go through the books, is the difference between the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police and the Controller General of Customs. You know that immediately those ones were appointed, they were quickly decorated with their full ranks, even though on acting capacity. But for that of the military, they remained with their own rank until they were fully confirmed by the scene. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So I don't know where that disparity comes. Yes,
servicemen.
Yes, servicemen. So
commander in chief might have to
make sure to do that. You know, but the fact is that they've been decorated. And for me, I still say it, Sarah, that in the past 8 years, this probably to me is the most balanced service chief we've had in the past 8 years.
Talking about
making sure, yes, interest, and getting the best. Because if you look at the person like the chief of naval staff, you need to see his antecedents. He's not a person that you will say that, oh, this is my godfather or whatever. And you need to see his profile. Well, whether you look at the chief of army staff, he has been in the forefront, going with the troops. When I was in Ibadan last week, I saw him talking about, in fact, he said that when he was talking to us, he said he heard about his appointment on television. Yes.
Wasn't contacted.
But I told him, I say, even though you had your appointment on television, we have been discussing about you on journalist hangouts. I told him. And that the predictions, including the one made by BK, is that his name always came up. The name of General Musa also always came up in our analysis. So it wasn't something of a surprise to some of us. But to him, he said, well, that was in fact that when he had the announcement, he quickly ran out of his house. So he had to go and say so, because he had to go somewhere. He wasn't expecting, he had to go and say somewhere. Because he knows that people will be trooping to his house to congratulate. And he doesn't want a lot of vehicles around where he's staying.
So he doesn't not even someone who likes publicity.
Yes, so he doesn't like it. So he quickly went somewhere and go and relax. By the time he came back about 1:45, so that he can come and see, people were still waiting for him. So it's that kind of person, but their job is cut out. And they have to make the difference because we should give it to some of the, at least immediate past service chiefs. They really tried their best.
Led by
Irabo, and the chief of army staff, Yahya. They really tried. You will see they were much like a game changers. And apart from that, they were able to work in harmony with each other compared to the ones before. And so we look forward to seeing a much better days ahead with the service chiefs. Congratulations to them.
All right, let's begin with the travails of the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, which has taken a new turn. And Abuja High Court, sitting in Maitama, has ordered the Department of State Services, DSS, to release Emefiele from detention or charge him to court within 7 days. In the judgment delivered by Justice Hamza Muazu, the court held that Emefiele's continued detention without trial amounts to a gross violation of his fundamental human rights. Judy, no matter how Emefiele might have heard and everything, is entitled to his fundamental human rights.
Yes.
Our security agencies, our people, EFCC and DSS, I don't know. Why is it that it is when they arrest you, they'll start with window shopping for evidence and everything against you? Because Emefiele has been arrested now for how many weeks? So why is he yet to be taken to court? Charged formally to court?
Well, they are the ones who can explain why. Since I'm far away from them, I don't know why they kept him without trial, but it can be deliberate. If they see you as an enemy of the state.
But it can be given a kind of administrative bill based on self-recognition for him to be coming and attending the trial.
Ayo, if they want information from you, the longer they keep you, the more likely that your dam will break. And when your dam breaks, listen to me, you ask me a question. When your dam breaks, you are likely to provide much more information than they even needed. You start hearing that he has started singing. No one is saying that it should be kept there indefinitely. But you ask me why it's been there, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to explain the tricks that they use.
Okay.
There are some of them like Showore, for example, 90 days. They are permitted by law to keep him.
I know of an arrangement. They will go to
then when they would not release him after 90 days, The judge said, look, you can't continue to ask for extension when I can see no sign that you are ready to put, to put this guy on trial and all that. So in the end, the judge said, no, I will no longer extend this thing. So these things happen, especially with the DSS, EFCC, and the rest of them. Nigeria needs a lot of information from Emefiele. That is a fact. A lot of terrible things happened in the last administration. And for me, there can be closure to all of those issues. People need to be made to answer for their crimes against their state. Who has investigated, for example, how much we spent on the printing of the most useless Naira notes in Nigerian history? Just get one of those Naira notes. Just take a drop of water.
It's almost
today I can tell you that when you need new notes, they are even is the old notes that they are printing as new notes. Ask anybody in the banks. If you have an Owambe now, you need new notes, and you go to the bank to request for new notes, your friends in the bank will still give you new notes of the old currency. So how many units of our Naira notes did he print?
I think they discontinued printing.
He didn't print enough. He continued to lie to his country. And he continued to lie against the banks that they were holding money. Now, today, the court said put both sets of currencies in circulation. How come we hardly see the other one? Today, if you go to
US, 100,000, you might just see 1,000 or 2,000.
Yes, that's what is to tell you that they didn't print enough, and they continue to lie that they had enough. So that's the kind of man that we had to deal with, leading to deaths of people, leading to destruction of banks. Look at what happened in Shagam. They stripped the Access Bank there.
So tomorrow, I don't think they have
everything that they had in that bank, including submersible water pump.
Yes,
you know
they will suffer for those ones.
I know that when those things happen, when there's breakdown of law and order,
lawlessness,
people felt that they needed to protest to show their anger. And I believe that even Nigerians, when you compare us even to the French, a lot of things that people don't protest about in Nigeria, try it with the French people. Try it with the French people. In some places, bread prices will go up, it will lead to a revolution.
Or South Africans.
It will lead to
in South Africa.
No, that's the headquarters of unionism, labor unionism.
Oh.
What they do to do we even have labor ordinance and all that in our country? Try some of those things in South Africa now, casualizing people anyhow, and they must not talk. The other day when casual workers protested in a shop right here, they sent policemen to be beating them, chasing them away. Nobody can try it in South Africa. I was in South Africa in 2006, when the same grocery chain that is here in our country, the workers went on strike. They had to beg them. They gave them what they wanted and they came back. In Nigeria, they protested. They brought policemen to beat people up. That is what happens in our country.
Sikir, you're a lawyer.
Well,
no matter how Emefiele would have overreached himself.
why we have the law is to protect both the rich, the poor, the powerful, the less powerful, irrespective. The law is very,
good
very
and
clear.
the bad.
The good and the bad. The law is very clear. The Constitution of Nigeria, 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, as amended, is very, very clear on the fundamental rights of every Nigerian, irrespective. Now, the issues has gone beyond just DSS and Emefiele. It is about the law. And the Constitution of Nigeria said that if you are arrested, within 24 hours and 48 hours, you must be put on trial. That is what the law, that has not been changed. If they need to detain you further, more than that, you have to go to the court and get the permission of the court to be able to do it. And that is what has happened in this case. Now, the issue of Emefiele, initially when he was arrested, he was taken to court. And the court granted the right, DSS, to hold on to him pending certain ground. He was given a particular time frame. Now, it is also in the wisdom of the court to say, now, you have detained this man for too long. It is either you bring him in and start your case with him, or you release him. And I totally agree with what you started, where you stayed. The problem we have in Nigeria is that most often than not, we arrest people and start looking for, and start investigating. You understand what I mean? You arrest them and start. It is not today that the DSS have been looking for Emefiele. Don't forget what's happened in the past. For few months, in fact, right through the period of the New Naira notes and the rest of them, there was a time that DSS wanted to arrest Emefiele. You remember what happened when he came in?
The judge did not.
And the judge did not.
Yes.
So it is not today. Let me tell you. Let me shock you. The DSS have a file on every individual, especially if you are politically exposed. Which is why currently the ministers that are coming in, the presidency have sent their file named to the DSS to be investigated. The FCC and the other agencies will investigate them and see. And AY, until you have problem with DSS, that is when you know that you think that people don't know you, that they don't know you. The day they bring out your file and you see how big it is, you'll be shocked. Now, it is not only Emefiele we are talking about Emefiele today. Let us also talk about the EFCC chairman. The same thing is happening. Whether we like it or not, we are a country governed by law, and we must seem to power. That power we must be seen. Any day that we go do anything contrary, that will only bring lawlessness and anarchy. It may be Emefiele today. It may be what's his name, the EFCC chairman tomorrow. We don't know who is next. So I will urge the EFCC, the DSS. If you have finished your investigation, go for trial. If you have not finished your investigation, go back to court and ask for more time. But if you're not able to do that, then as the court says, then they don't, they must be released.
Finally on this, immediately they arrest them, they fall sick, and you see them on camera, you won't identify them again, you are not to, and they tell their lawyers that, they have a lot of underlying illness and everything, and it's so common with our big men in Nigeria.
Yes. It makes me happy when sometimes I see them go through what the ordinary people go through. When they lose their freedom, they start behaving like they've been decapitated.
Also, there's some
freedom for a short while. They don't want to lose their freedom at all. And in any case, you see people walking around, below they are not healthy. You can't determine a healthy man by his weight or by mere looking at him. No, many of them are underlying illness. So what is right is let the the DSS come up with a proper charge against him. If it's terrorism, let us know. Don't keep him there in perpetuity, because it's against the law. So that's that.
All right. Laws, they say, are made to be amended or repealed to suit certain circumstances. For Osun State, Southwest Nigeria, it is time to repeal some irrelevant laws. The State House of Assembly has repealed the state anthem, crest and flag law of 2012. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Adewale Egbedun, stated that the decision is in compliance with the judgment of the Federal High Court on the 14th of December 2017. Egbedun explained that the House agreed that all corrections made on Osun State Anthem, Crest and Flag Law 2012 form part of the Osun State Anthem, Crest and Flag Bill 2023, sponsored by the Majority Leader. Jide, a governor came in Osun State and he asked us, and he was fighting the media, and he told us that, look, that state should be known as State of Osun, not Osun State.
Yes.
So you cannot be interviewing Ogbeni at that time and you say Osun State. You will have him to contend with. They had their own flag, insignia, they had their own national anthem and their state anthem and so on, and everything seemed to be cool and good till it was challenged in court.
You are in power. when you're empowered, there are certain things that you can get away with. What you are saying about him is true. I once interviewed him, and I think it was in his 7th year, because I didn't go to Oshun.
12 for years.
7 years into Aregbe's tenure. So he noticed that I kept calling it Osun State. So he cautioned me, said, come on, I don't want to tell you again that this is State of Osun.
State of Osun, not Osun State.
We made a law. We made a law to call this State of Osun. And because of this interview, I don't want to remind you again. So I said, sorry, sir. But throughout the rest of the interview, I kept saying, your state, your state.
No, you didn't call that State of Osun.
No, you are not going to hear that from my mouth.
You are so stubborn.
Even as home news editor, when I just joined TBC, if I see it in a script, I remove it. I put Osun State. That's what I was doing. If you like, right, when I'm reading the script, I'll put what is supposed to be there. Because at the end of the day, we are a nation. Is a lawyer, looking at me like someone to intent on decapitating me. We are a nation governed by law. The idea of State of Osun is not known to the Nigerian Constitution. When you open the Constitution, you see all the states. They are listed. All the local governments.
774.
Their names are written. You can't alter it.
Especially except there's an amendment.
You can't alter it. And that was what the lawyer who went to court, I mean the fellow who took them to court, when he won, they appealed. Then the first case that he won, Ogbeni was in office when he won that one. Then in 2020, they sent their documents to him, this land use charges that he needed to pay. Instead of paying the state, he sued them, arguing that there is no such thing as State of Osun.
State of Osun.
He will not pay. That State of Osun is an unknown entity by law, therefore he will not pay to them. The state appealed. But in the end, judgment had not even come. Recall that immediately Adeleke took office. At the inauguration, he announced that he was going to revert to what the state was called, State of the Living Spring.
Yes, not Omoluabi,
not
Akpalara.
Not State of the Virtuous, because Omoluabi is a virtuous person.
Okay.
But the House of Assembly was APC controlled, so they rejected the governor's directive, because he sent a word to them that, look, this is what I wanted, and they rejected it. Of course, that was understandable.
So during the election, they had during the election, the tide changed in the assembly.
Yes, they lost. All of those guys, all of those who contested lost. They dominated the house. So you can see now that they've done what the governor wanted them to do, and what a good number of people actually didn't see the need for these things. Just the same way they didn't see the need for every school to wear the same uniform. So that if your school, for example, has a good number of bad boys always fighting, in town, you want them to be recognized by the uniform that they wear.
Bobby boys,
People like
boys.
People like the lawyer, Olanipekun, the products of Ilesha Grammar School, they went to court. They said, you can't tie all of us with the same brush. You can't say all of us will wear the same uniform. They went to court. But in the end, it was one of the things that Oyetola reversed, and the rest is history. So, in my view, no law or act can be bigger than the letters of the Constitution.
Okay.
This is
better. All right, we'll take this back. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breather. Stay with us.
In today's world, our lifestyle, both at work and at play, depends on connectivity. Our connectivity depends on the devices that make it possible, and these devices depend on electric power. When power fails, our life shrinks, our work drops, and our joy dips. JRB Solar Energy Systems are here to ensure that we enjoy uninterruptible power, uninterruptible joy. Whether you're running a business, an institution, or just a home you return daily to rest, JRB has got you covered. No project is too big for our super digital inverters, long-lasting batteries, and efficient solar panels. Go. Dream on. Change your world. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar streetlights, and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. With JRB, the sun's gonna shine on everything you do.
In the month of July, on the 2nd of July, the global community celebrates World Sport Journalists Day. The 5th of July is the first anniversary of the Kuje prison attack when some Boko Haram insurgents escaped. The 7th of July marks 25 years since the winner of the June 12, 1993 president.
Thank you for staying with us. CKN, so this is another, because they refer to the court judgment for 14th of December 2017, the Federal High Court. That's what the State House of Assembly, relied on to actually take this position.
Yes, within the 1999 Constitution, there's what we call devolution of power in terms of what federal can do, what state can do, and what local government can do. There are some exclusive legislative rights that's exclusive to the federal government. There are some that are exclusive to the state government. There are some that are joint.
Shared power.
So there are some that are concurrent. Then, now, I don't think the renaming of states is within
the purview of
the concurrent list of which the state and the state. It does not have, there's only one. And that is why, as bad as our constitution looks, but it's also a very dynamic constitution. Now, have you looked at it from the point that since 1960 that we've gotten independence, there's no civilian government that will be able to create a state. Go and check the records.
It's not possible.
No.
As in the cumbersome nature of that
constitution. Go and check the
extremely
states were only created during the military government. Yes. From 12 to 19, from 19 to the same crisis. And they've tried it. It couldn't work. Because in as much as we say we want devolution of power, let the constitution be a bit, you'll be surprised that if given allowed, there is a lot of things that Nigerians as we are, we do that we're able to show that. Go and look at the American Constitution, as old as it is. You'll be shocked by the number of amendments that have been done to that Constitution. The same thing with that of the United Kingdom and some other countries. Now, back to this. I think the former governor for Osun State was just being a bit self-indulgent, if I use that word, by what he did. He was carried away by personal interest that he feels that, we want to promote. Even if you want to promote it, let me give you another classic reason. The president visited the Awujale of Egba land a few days ago. If you see the nostalgic feeling I had when they sang there was an Egba anthem. They sang it. They sang the Egba anthem. And you could see that, despite the fact that, we still have Nigeria, there are still some certain things that are indigenous to us. Nobody is saying that the governor shouldn't do it, but the fact that you want to now start rewrite the books is not possible. So whatever the government and governor in office now is doing is the right thing, because you cannot go to a federal legislative meeting where you have 36 states and everything, and they say this is my state is Imo State. They say they call on BKO, they say Kogi State, they call on your own, and they say then the only state, your own state, you say no, I want to be mine is the state of Osun. From where do you derive the power? So it is not. So this is, and the second also is that, which I also think is that this is why politics, people have to be very, very careful in politics. Because when you try to siphon or play around and try to deal with, quote and unquote, your political party just because of your own personal interest. Let me give this. Probably if an Oyetola had come back as an APC governor in Osun State, some of these legacies that have been tinkered with, probably may not be such. But because he also wants to have some legacies that was left by his predecessor. But this is a different, this is a fellow that didn't know Moses. He's not of APC.
I believe that even when Oyetola was there, they had lost the case. So it was just a matter of time. So they lost the case. They lost it even at appeal.
2017.
You know, they lost it at appeal. So they would still have had to revert because it just couldn't stand the test of scrutiny of the law. It just couldn't stand it. There is no level that you get to that you won't lose that case. And it was very clear. And you can't change, you can't alter the constitution because that's what
it's not possible. You can't alter it.
Those names are written in the constitution.
It's like APC ganged up against APC in Osun State, and we are seeing the backlash.
No, you see, actions have consequences. You ganged up against your own party. Now you are being served breakfast.
Code one.
The legacy, one by one, the legacy of an APC administration that was in office for 8 years, and another one that was in office for 4 years. We are seeing those legacies being eroded incrementally. So that is what happens because the people who have come in, as far as they are concerned, they are not your fans. They are not interested. They would want to come up with their own identity as a ruling party. And if they leave what you have done untouched, some of them that you did in controversial circumstances, then they won't be able to achieve their aim. So this is the situation. Now they are in opposition. They lost all the elections woefully. They've lost power. They've lost influence, which probably would not have happened if they all worked hard together. You know, but you can't tell politicians not to rebel against their party, you know. It happened everywhere, even the PDP, it happened. So, second base.
All right. It is argued that for the sit-at-home disrupting socio-economic activities in the southeast to stop, leaders of goodwill from the region must condemn it. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has described insecurity in the region as criminal activity. Obi noted that since the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has constantly distanced itself from the sit-at-home and insecurity, what is going on in the southeast is criminal activity. While commending the governors for their efforts, he said they need to be more strategic and intelligence-driven in their approach. There's one guy in Finland they call Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa is, he declared from July or to August, close to a month now, so there's going to be a complete sit-at-home. And people, he has followership, people listen to him, and I don't know, he's just doing exactly what Mazina Ducano used to do in London when he was not around. This guy is in Finland, and people are killing people right in the southeast.
It would have been best for him to come home and enforce it himself. You want to keep people at home for days, for weeks.
I'm at home.
No, but
if you stay at home in Finland,
see, the truth is, a lot of our good people in the southeast have been blackmailed.
Honestly,
it's not as if they enjoy this sit at home. The Igbo man On Monday morning, he wants to open his container. Business has started. But you rob them of that opportunity. They are now moving their businesses to other parts of the country. Places like Akwa Ibom are now receiving a lot of business people from the east, whom as a result of the sit-at-home cannot work on Mondays. It makes absolutely no sense. It is not true that IPOB has said they are not interested in sit-at-home. What IPOB said was that that sit-at-home will only happen on days when Nnamdi Kanu is brought to court. But even on days when it's not brought to court, we still see these boys enforcing the sit-at-home. It's a good thing to hear someone like Peter Obi condemning what we had condemned so many times. We had expected him to condemn this because of his influence, because of the reach that he has when he speaks. Today, this thing has gone out of hands. The boys who are enforcing sit-at-home, they are cultists, they are criminals, and you look at a state like Ebonyi that was not even obeying sit-at-home. They went there and were shooting people just to instill fear in the hearts of the people.
Fear factor.
You know, so that next time they say sit-at-home. The governor of Enugu State, he came out, he was resolute about ensuring that on Mondays people go to work. Yes. But the people want to go to work, but they are not guaranteed the security that they need to be able to conduct their businesses peacefully. That's why, Lord, they would rather sit at home. No governor, the former governor of Ebonyi was threatening people now. But people won't listen. Even when Soludo took over, Soludo was threatening people that, if we don't come to work, there will be a head count. What has happened? Because the security, even on those days, policemen stay away from checkpoints. So who will protect the people? There is a need. This new government has to find a way, because we want the GDP of the country to grow. How do you get the GDP of the country to grow when a critical segment of the country, a critical segment that drives commerce in our country, they are not allowed to conduct business the way they like? There's no way that the GDP will grow to the exclusion of the Southeast. It's not going to happen. So there has to be a way to solve this problem. Stop even the harassment of peace-loving people who want to go about their businesses. For me, and CKN can testify, we were in Owerri during sit-at-home. There was even traffic on the road because we had soldiers. They came for their annual Army Day, Army Day celebration. They flooded the city with soldiers. Show of strength. Yeah. There was traffic gridlock in Owerri on a Monday. When I told her, I said, you want us to arrive? I said, why now? Why do you want us to arrive when he said, Ajide, you won't sit at home? He was just laughing. Wachuku was just laughing. He said, you won't sit at home. That we are dominating the area.
And that was not. Yeah, that was not.
So, see, these guys are not bigger than the state. Our security operatives need to be more resolute, honestly. And I can hear this new chief of army staff saying that issue will be addressed. I know that ultimately we will solve this problem.
Okay. This is something that we were living in denial at the initial stage, calling these guys unknown gunmen for a long time, that we are not even sure who they are. Now we've discovered that these are Southeasterners unleashing terror on their own people. That's the painful part of it.
It is. It's like bringing it home for me, because some of us, for a fact, apart from some of us being afraid to even travel to the Southeast, the fact is that even those in the Southeast find it difficult. They live in fear, including in my own village, Mongobo, where I come from. Monday, is a known fact that there's only certain areas just within the cities that you can see people coming and betting. Most of the places paralyzed. Schools paralyzed. Players don't go to school on Monday again. But let me give you a statistics of the economic impacts of what we are talking about. International Center for Investigative Reporting on January 16, 2023 came out with a report. And it said that report did a one-year assessment of the economic losses in the Southeast. It came to, that's for 52 weeks, it came to 4.618 trillion naira. That is Monday, just staying at home. I'm not talking about just staying at home every Monday. Now, that came to a total of $10.495 billion. Weekly, it came to 75.704 billion. Now, they even went as far as taking down the state. Every week, on Mondays, Anambra loses 38.140 billion naira. Enugu, 9.334 billion. Imo, 13.739 billion. Ebonyi, 4.079 billion. And Abia, 10.412 billion. Now, when you look at this and other social activities that lost, you now see that the Southeast is practically breathing. And just like Jide said, people now, especially in Anambra State, now have moved to Asaba. Most people are living in Asaba now. Jide was in Asaba. Jide was in Asaba a few weeks, I think a few months ago. You saw
people are sending their children.
People are sending their children to school in Asaba. People are living across. It's just the walk. Across the bridge. It's just the bridge. You just walk it.
But they don't enforce it.
Yes, they don't enforce. Once you walk through Onitsha and just cross the Niger Bridge, you see life on a Monday, and that is what has been happening. Then the issue you now ask yourself, why this? And I've always said it. It goes just for me. It goes just beyond security. Oh, we say, oh, the military are not doing enough. The soldiers are not doing enough. What of the leaders of the Southeast? What are they doing? I'm talking of the governors. I'm talking of those in the local government. I'm talking of the traditional rulers and the rest of them. There have been issues of...
They've lost control.
That is what I'm saying.
Those boys were even killing...
They were killing, yes. Because if you remember what happened vividly, just this last one, they were everywhere shooting people and killing people that it has become so very difficult for us. Personally, I feel that part of the solution, one, is that the Nigerian government under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should first and foremost start dealing with Finland. Bilateral relationship, to find a way of making sure that that young man that is always instigating this one is brought to book. It's either they get him arrested,
to jail him.
they don't get him this thing. But we must let me tell you, let me tell you, Finland cannot start that for you.
He will be a hero here if they bring him in.
Yes, the Finnish government cannot do that. It is the Nigerian government that will write formally to Finland and say, this is the problem we're having. This is there was a time that it was a rumor that he was arrested one day like this. Then it was left. Because we don't. So there's enough. There was a young man that is in UK that was at a point was making discriminatory, inciting this thing about the people of the Southeast. Okay. In UK, they arrested him. I can't remember the guy's name. You remember this thing? You remember that?
Every country that can do what
that is it. You remember what I'm talking about? He was, and since then that he was warned by the British government, you have not seen a single post by him. I think something should be done because the life in the South is practically at its lowest, and we cannot continue.
All right, we have to leave it there. The need for provisions of palliatives to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal rages on. The House of Representatives has approved the request of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 500 billion naira supplementary budgets as palliatives to Nigerians to reduce the hardship caused by the subsidy removal. Reacting to development, the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress turned down the 500 billion naira palliative proposed by President Tinubu. The Labour Union stated that it is grossly inadequate to assuage the hardship confronting workers. Hence, they demanded a 300% salary increase to enable workers cope with the economic situation in the country. Jide, it's fighting hard. poverty is biting hard, inflation is biting hard, and Nigerians are feeling this thing. And I doubt if 500 billion naira could go anywhere. 500 billion naira, not even a trillion or 2 trillion naira. So NLC just rejected it, and in turn they are asking for 300% salary increase. How visible is this?
TUC asked for minimum wage of
200,000.
So NLC that initially said it was going to stay away from talks with the federal government. But when they realized that they were talking to TUC, TUC is a very formidable labor subsector, if I can use that word. They then had to join the meeting. The truth is, there is nothing that you can do that will go around everybody. There is no amount of money. Even if you allocate 10 trillion, it will still not go around everybody. When countries go through inflation, they take steps that reverse the trend. Even Germany, the most advanced country in the EU, they too are facing inflationary trends at this time, but they know what they have to do, and they will address the problem. For me, some of what the NLC has said is, look, fix the refineries, reverse the privatization of electricity, give agri loans to farmers and youths through community banks, provide social benefits for aged and unemployed youths. These are suggestions that they can bring forward, in their dialogue with the federal government. But you can't say that you do not support. I have a feeling that, okay, the media may have even couched the headline in a way that suggests that they do not want it. What are you going to do about palliatives that have been approved? You've not got the power to reverse what has been approved. The government is within the rights of government to approach the National Assembly to say, look, we want to address some of these problems. And during their meeting, they talked about some of the things that they intend to do, like even converting vehicles to compressed natural gas, to those that will be using compressed natural gas, even electric vehicles and all that. Because compressed natural gas is way cheaper than petrol, just about 100, 150 per liter if we are to use liters. Just to describe, what it will look like. So that will help. In my view, if we fix electricity, for example, a good number of our people spend so much money buying petrol because they don't want to sleep in darkness. So there are many steps that government can take that will address this problem. But you can't address this problem alone by simply targeting public workers. It's not everyone. For example, I don't work for government. So if you are saying you are going to increase the wages of workers, it will not get to me. I believe that at the end of the day, some of what the Labour has suggested, like giving single-digit loans to farmers, it will boost production in our country, and the economy will get better. And once the economy gets better, some of these pains, at least the impact of the pains will reduce. There is no way, we can't run away from the sacrifice that comes with removal of subsidy. We can't. Just the same way that our neighbors are feeling it, we too, we feel it. There's nothing we can do at this stage. Because for so long, we should have done this, we chose not to do it. And we were told that, look, we have to do this ultimately. We didn't listen. Look at where we are now. So let's see some of the measures that they are going to come up with. But I know that salary increase is one of them. And I think it was the governor of Bauchi State who even analyzed how much it will cost when the consequential adjustment to salaries are made. You already talked about how much it will cost to do that. So we wait.
CKN, Oliver, they are looking at something that we have a far-reaching impacts on Nigerian workers.
Yes, they are.
The federal government.
Let us look at the letter sent to by the President to the National Assembly seeking this loan or seeking this release of this money, 500 million. They were specific that the 500 million is meant for 12 million Nigerians, those within the down cadre of Nigerians, and that 8,000 naira each will be credited to this account of these individuals. That is what they said. That's what it said. And I have a big problem with that. And that will be also go for about 6 months. 500 million for 12 million Nigerians, 8,000. And the issue for me is that I hope we are not getting it wrong. The same way, this was the way the Buhari government went with its anchor borrowing scheme, with the disbursement of money by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, that at the end of it all, nobody could give an account. Although this current government said that, that they have a database which will be used. But ask yourself, somebody will say, 8,000 naira per month. Of what effect will it come to anybody? No matter wherever, even you're in the villages, 8,000 naira. Then the issue now, instead of looking at the issue of, giving this to certain people, 12 million people, and distributing 8,000, I think that we can use this money for the beneficiary of. For goodness sake, it's not only those within the lower cadre that have been affected by the fuego. How you have been affected? In fact, funny enough, let me give you.
As he told you, he's affected.
Ayo is my pally now. I know you. Ayo is my man. Because I know. Because that's what I'm going to. Because let me shock you. I went to buy fuel. Let me tell you. I went to buy fuel. As I was coming to the store, I brought somewhere to buy fuel. The guy now asked me, fill up. I say, you know what? I said, you don't whine me.
You don't whine me.
You don't whine me. Say, you don't whine me. I said, but you don't whine me. I said, I beg, put 10,000 naira.
Joking.
You must be joking. You must be joking.
You get 34,000 naira.
34?
You get 39,000 naira.
Hey, why? I know the motto.
Something you were doing 11.
You know now.
He doesn't want people to know. It costs more than 45,000.
Your own costs more than 45,000. But let us not go there. But what I'm saying is that the effect is not only on, and that general everybody across the board. If we are going, let me say, if NLC agree with government to increase 300%. With TVC, we agreed to increase 300% for Oya and for GD.
I don't want to mention any name.
I don't want to mention anything. Even if they increase, let them increase. Will they be able to
see when you put them to increase this one? People know that you are biased.
No, I say you and Ayo. I say you and Ayo.
But those other people, I don't know human beings.
Then let's also look at it. There are states. No, finally, there are states that still now have not paid 30,000 naira.
You can't pay
30,000 naira.
Thank you for your contribution. We have to go.
You can't pay 30.
They can't pay 30. Quite unfortunate.
It will get better.
It will, by the grace of God.
And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria, and Ayodele Usubapu. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone, your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain?